Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be replacing some brake pipes on the Impreza because apparently this car loves chewing them. But before all of that, as usual, let's roll the intro. I feel like all I've done for the last 2 months is been brakes and brakes and brakes, and I'm tired of them. Apparently, in the third generation of Imprezas, it's quite common that the brake pipes at the back, so basically from the axle backwards, where the two-way connector is, it's quite common for them to break. Because in reality, they are exposed to the elements, they're not covered by anything, they are not protected with anything. All they have, and I'm going to show you in a minute, is basically a plastic tray, and that's all it is. So what I'm going to do is jack it up. We're going to go underneath, I'm going to show you that tray, we're going to remove the tray. We're going to lubricate every single joint, get it ready to be able to be removed, and then to install the new one when it comes. So if we have a look, that plastic cover is the only thing that protects all brake pipes from the elements. So we're going to remove that. As you can see, I've got a cable tie right there because one of the bolts broke last time I put it on. So we're going to remove that, and I'm going to show you the brake pipes that are located under the tray. Once we remove the under tray, this is what we're looking at. So right there, as you can see, right there is what is leaking. That pipe that goes along here is the handbrake, and up above it, we'll get closer in a minute, is where our brake pipe connect from the middle of the car to the back, and it comes all the way back here to the calipers. So let's get a bit close and let's inspect that joint. If we come under the car, this is the two-way connector that I was talking about. Those two pipes here on the left go all the way back to the front, and the two at the back go one to the right caliper at the rear and one to the left caliper at the rear. If you look closely to this one right at the top, right there you can see the brake fluid leaking. Can you see? Right there. I managed to get the two pipes that they actually go from this connector all the way to the back. So what we're going to have to do is remove these ones. We're going to have to remove them too, which I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but they go all along the fuel tank to the back of the car. We're going to make sure that we unseal or we put some sort of protection on those brake pipes so this doesn't happen again. As I said before, apparently this is quite common on the cars because they are unprotected, they are exposed to the elements. So I'm going to make sure that I clean them and then I seal them somehow. We put something on them so they last longer. But essentially what we're going to do is change both pipes, the one that comes from the right caliper and the one that comes to the left. Hopefully we don't break any connector, so we can just straight swap one to the other, but for that we're gonna have to lubricate the shit out of every single joint. So that's what I'm gonna do today. The parts are not here yet, but they should be here on Monday. Today is Saturday, so it gives me plenty of time to mess with this, to make sure that I can remove them, and if I can remove them today or tomorrow, then that'll be brilliant, because when they come we just need to put the other ones back on. That'll be job done. But easier said than done, so let's just carry on, let's just keep lubricating and see what we can do. I've done a few things off camera. As you can see, I removed the brake pipe that goes to the right caliper, which was the one that's been replaced 2 years ago, so it was quite easy. But if we get a bit closer, we're going to see that the other one is rounded, and ideally, because I've got a lot of brake fluid here that has been dropping for the last day or so, I don't really want to use a torch. So what I'm going to do is cut it very short and then get one of those structure sockets and just remove it. I managed to remove the nut that was left on the two-way connector. As I said to you, what I did is I cut the brake pipe, and what I used was one of these structure bolts. Don't know if you can see it right here. Basically what I did is put it over hammer it a couple of times and then manage to remove it. So let's get underneath and let me show you what it looks like. So if you look up there, now both nuts are off. What I'm going to do is clean that top one, as it looks quite dirty right there. And now what we can do is remove the pipes that they go, one right here to the right caliper, and the other one is going to go all the way to the left side of the vehicle. So two pipes go, one from here, as I said before, to the right hand side of the vehicle, which is quite easy to remove, and the other one, if you can see up there, let's see right there, there's the other pipe. So we're gonna have to unclip that one from that plastic clip, you can see it right there, and then it goes up and over the fuel tank, unfortunately. So that is going to be quite a bit of a challenge to remove it and to fit the new one. If you come to the right hand side of the vehicle at the back, right there is going to be the other joint that we're going to have to remove. That one doesn't seem to be too bad, and the other side is going to be sort of the same thing. So let's have a look at that one. On the left side, our connector as well doesn't seem to be too rotten, so it'd be easy, I reckon, to actually remove it. The issue is not going to be this. The issue is going to be the following. When I get the parts, I'll explain it to you a bit better, but basically I bought two OEM rear brake pipes, which means that they come already bent. Now, the issue is going to be to get a new brake pipe going from this side here, where the two-way connector is, all the way up and over the fuel tank and to the left side of the vehicle. And I'm saying this because, as I said, the pipe is already being bent, so it is going to be a bit harder. When we get the part, we'll see what we do, but at the moment, that's probably going to be the hardest bit of this job. But we just got parts delivered, so let's have a look at them. I got these brake pipes from a company called Motorsport Parts. It's down in Plymouth, here in South England, and they deliver it quite quickly. It was quite cheap, to be honest, and they only do OEM parts. So if you can find a part for your Subaru, give them a ring. I'll put all the details as well down in the description anyway, but if not, go to their website or give them a ring, send them an email, and they will manage to help you. Without further ado, let's open it and see what it looks like. Alright, let's have a quick look at what we got here. So this is exactly how it's going to be fitted. Here is the part number, if you need it, right there. But this is exactly how it's going to be fitted. That goes to the left caliper, then comes across all over the fuel tank, and then it goes to our two-way connector, and this comes from the right hand side, and the same thing goes to the two-way connector. Now that we remove that bolt from the two-way connector, we're going to start from this side, since it's going to be the hardest one. So this should be this is going to be an 11mm nut. I've been lubricating it for the last few days. I'm going to correct myself on this side, because it's the OEM one, is a 10mm. The other side, it was copper made, and it was 11. So we're going to try to get this one out, hopefully without breaking anything. Unfortunately, that nut didn't want to play ball, so I ended up doing what I did before, cut her off just with a nice pair of pliers, and basically I put the extractor ball there, and as you can see right now, it's coming off. So good news for us. At this point, I've been messing with that brake pipe for a while. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but if I haven't, I do it now. That brake pipe has two clips round about the fuel tank that I can get to it in order to be able to remove the pipe. I mean, I've been trying to junk it and all that, but I don't want to break the clips, since I've got an OEM brake pipe, so I'm going to be utilizing the same clips or the same points where it's hooked up on top of the fuel tank. So unfortunately, what I'm going to have to do is drop the tank. Now I'm going to drop the tank, but not fully. So what I'm going to do is remove the two bolts at the back of the tank hangers, if you want to call it, or brackets or whatever. The two basically metal strips that hold the fuel tank. So I'm going to remove the 2 bolts at the back, and what is going to happen is that the fuel tank is going to sit on top of the rear subframe, which hopefully gives me enough space to get my hand there, or maybe not my hand, but get a pry bar there and unhook them. And then I can remove that, and then I can put the new one back in and utilize the same clips there, and all should be good. So let me show you how we're going to tackle this. First thing we're going to do is remove the rear seat. As you can see, I've already done it in this car, which was quite interesting because I never removed the actual rear seat. And all it is that you get your finger here and hook that one on this one. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, that's good, but you got a clip right there that you can just basically push, and you can unhook this from it. Anyway, off topic. What we're going to do is I'm going to remove that and that on that side, just to make sure that when we drop the tank, even if it's ever so slightly, nothing is going to be pulled from this side, no cables, no pipes, no nothing. As far as I know, we only have this connector here and that connector around the other side, which I'll show you in a minute. So we're going to take them out and we're going to check underneath before we do anything else. All right, now that we have removed both of them, the only one that I really was a bit concerned about was this clip right here. So I disconnected it from there, and now we got plenty of space, even though this is the front of the tank, so it's not going to have a lot of input, let's say what we do at the rear, because it's not going to pull this much or as much as it would do if it's anything connected at the back. On the other side, we got that pipe right there, which is this pipe. I don't know if you can see it. It is this pipe right here, this second one, that one there. I'm not going to disconnect that again because it's only a connection between them two, and this is the front. So what we're going to do is just drop it like that. So there should be enough slack there to hold it. That being said, if you fuck it up, this is the clip where I didn't disconnect it and I made a big mess. I don't know how easily you're going to be able to see this, but if you look right there where my ratchet is, that's basically where the bracket for the fuel tank ends. On this side we got a 12mm bolt there, and currently it's coming out quite easily, which I'm scared to say, but I'm quite surprised. And on the other side we're going to have exactly the same. When I go to the other side I'll show you a bit better because we can get underneath, and I've got one of the plastic trays, like you can see right there. There's a plastic tray right there, protector cover, whatever, which on the other side I don't have it. So I'm going to show you the braces for the fuel tank a bit better, and hopefully when we remove that and we remove the other side, we're able to remove this brake pipe and fit the new one. So let's see what happens. Alright, so right here we got a perfect view of what we're trying to do. That's basically the brace for the fuel tank, as you can see here. And if we look up here, right up there we got the bolt right here that we're removing on the other side. So that's a 12mm in my case. In your case, I don't know what it's going to be, but now what we recommend you to do is, since we're going to drop the rear of the fuel tank, is put a jack right here, so the drop when this is loose is not very hard, it's not very harsh on every pipe and every connector we've got. So we're going to do that first, and then we're going to proceed to remove that one and see how much it dropped. One thing I had to do on my one, on this Mach 3 Impreza, is remove this right here. Don't know if you can see it, yeah, right there. The clip for this sensor is just like a normal clip, so you can get a pry bar or a screwdriver or one of those clip remover, like the ones that they come with the plastic trims, and just right here at the bottom just pry it out, because what happens is that the bolt is directly above this. So when you put your ratchet right here with your socket, it's going to clash on that. So we need to remove this in order to have plenty of space to remove it. Alright, good news. I managed to remove the old one, but as you can see, it's no longer the shape that it should have been. And if you look on this side, right here is where it broke. So to be able to fit this new one, this one here on the right hand side is going to be very easy, because it just goes over, it goes from here right there. I don't know if you can see it, but it goes right from there all the way down. Here's the old one, and just go straight to that two-way connector right there. That one, as you've seen, is quite a lot harder. So unfortunately, what we're going to have to do is, now that I removed that, I could probably do just a copper pipe, which it could be another thing. Instead of actually dropping the subframe, just do a copper pipe. I'll think about that. I'll think properly, because now that I got the parts, don't know, it'd be a bit silly not to utilize them. But yeah, I'll have a think about, and I'll come back to you in a second. So unfortunately, as much as I want to actually utilize the OEM brake line that I bought, and this is gonna annoy me quite a lot. It's stupid, because you can do it and it's fine, but I wanted to use the brand new one, the OEM one. But unfortunately, unless, as I said in the last clip, I drop the subframe, I'm not going to be able to fit it through, because it's been already bent in shape to be able to use the clips and all that they are in the car. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to put a brand new OEM one on the right hand side, because it's quite easy to fit. I'll show you in a minute. But we're going to use copper pipe, and what we're going to do is try to feed the copper pipe through the same channel, the same route that the OEM goes to, use the clips that we can use and we can reach, and then what we're going to do is flare the pipe, put the connector, and then connect it all together, bleed the brakes, and that should be job done, at least for now. Alright, so I'll go here, my copper pipe. Make sure the one that you buy is the one that your car actually utilizes. So all I'm going to do is try to feed the pipe the same way up and above the fuel tank, and ideally, because I put the fuel tank back up, ideally I hope I don't have to drop it. If I have to drop it, then I'll do it, but hopefully I can do that without having to drop the tank, and then just feed it all the way to the other side, and then we can do our bends and we can do our flares and all that kind of stuff. So let's see what happens. Right, I've dropped the tank a bit, and it seems like it's working. So just gonna keep on feeding it. I'm gonna go on the other side, check how far we are from it, see if I can see anything, because it seems like we're hitting something there. So yeah, just give me a second. I've been trying to feed that through the OEM way, if you want, the OEM route, but what happens is that it hits a hose right on top of the fuel tank. So basically, and I can't drop it anymore, it's already as low as it can go because of the subframe. So to drop it even more, I have to drop the subframe, and if I'm dropping a bit the subframe, might as well just put the brand new OEM one. So what I'm going to do is reroute my brake pipe, my brake line, sorry, and what I'm going to do with that is basically I'm going to route it so it comes behind here and then upwards and then here. I don't know if you can see that. So the idea, instead of coming this way and here and up, I'm going to bring it this way, here and up, which is kind of the same thing anyway. The only thing that I'm going to change is, instead of going up and above the fuel tank, we're going to go alongside the subframe. Now, I know the exhaust is right there, and this doesn't, and the brake lines needs to be away from the exhaust. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reroute it right here. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to stop talking so much shit anyway, and I'm just going to go underneath, and I'm going to show you exactly how we're going to route it so we miss every moving component and anything like that, so nothing gets crashed or broken or damaged. So once we get to this bush, what we do at the back of here is go up. Let me see if I can show you properly. If not, you'll see it later anyway. But what we're going to do is, instead of coming this way straight, we're going to go behind here and at the back, and we're going to come somewhere around here. As I said, at the back, we're going to come somewhere around here at the back of the subframe, right up down here, and that should be job done. So let's do that. What we're going to have to do now is double flare all brake pipes so the fitting doesn't come out and the fluid doesn't leak. But instead of showing you here on the car, because it's going to be a bit harder, what I'm going to do is link up here the video where I show you how to flare or double flare your brake pipes, or how I do them. As I said, I'm not a professional, but they never leak. The ones that I've done never leaked, and hopefully this one's done either. So what I'm going to do, as I said, link that up there. Otherwise this video is going to be too long. So I'll link it up there and you can go and watch it if you need to refresh your mind, or if you never done it and you want to have a bit of an idea how to do it. So I'll, as I said, I'll link that up there. As you can see, we got one done. Yeah, there we go. We got one done. Let's go and do the other one. It's not perfect, but it will be alright. It will be good enough. Alright, so here we got the other side nicely done. It does stick out quite a bit, as you can see there, but that's how it is on the other side as well. So we'll check it. It's quite nice and tight, so I don't think it should leak, but that's what we're gonna have to check before we actually go for a test drive and whatever. But yeah, as you can see, kind of try to go and use the same clip that the OEM uses. It goes down there. It's not rubbing on anything, it's not touching anything. And what I'm going to do underneath the vehicle, well, if you came this side before, just for reference, that's how they normally sit, at least on this car. As you can see, it's quite far out, so I'm not concerned on the other side that is a bit far out, just like this one. On this side, what we're going to do is we're going to use the actually OEM one, because it only goes from here down there and right to a connector, which is down there somewhere. So what I was going to say is, you can see our copper pipe now right there. And what I'm going to do, because that is touching the subframe, you can see there right now our copper pipe. So what I'm going to do is either trying to move it out of the way and maybe cable ties to something, or put something around the actual copper pipe, so if it wraps on the subframe, because of any movement or whatever, it's not going to break. So bear in mind, if you're doing this like me, you're routing it somewhere else, make sure you have something in between the copper pipe and whatever metal on the vehicle, or whatever hard, maybe plastic or anything like that, is around it, so it doesn't rub and it doesn't break. And just like that, we got the OEM now nicely fitted. I wish I could have put the other one as well on the other side without actually having to undo the subframe, but you know, it looks very nice. I'm going to go underneath. I'm going to show you how the other two look like. And here underneath we can see how both look like and how they are routed. And as I said, I'm going to check that the copper pipe is not touching anywhere, and if it is, I'm going to try to put something in between the subframe and the pipe, so it's not rubbing and it's not making any damage to the actual pipe. Now, before I put the bolt for the two-way connector there and for the handbrake right here, I'm going to put some brake fluid in the reservoir, pump the brakes and see if anything is leaking. I mean, I can at the minute on my own. At the minute I can't bleed the brakes on my own, because I don't have any machine that I can just connect to, like a compressor, and just suck the air and all that. So I'm gonna have to wait for my girlfriend to come home so she can pump the brakes, we can bleed all the brakes all around, and then we should be able to go for a drive and use the car again if nothing is leaking. But what I'm gonna do is just put a bit of brake fluid in the reservoir, pump the brake and see if it goes through, and I can't see any leaks, at least for now. I did say to you I was going to check just to pump the brakes, just to make sure that I have no leaks, and unfortunately this happened. So yeah, I ordered those pipes, but they're not going to be here until the end of May. So I might do just a couple of connections there just so I can use the car, or I might just wait for a month or like 3 weeks to get those pipes and then fit them. So yeah, brilliant. And I even washed it and everything. So yeah, we won't be able to use it for at least 3 weeks at least, unless I do those 2 connections, like cut the pipes, do another 2 copper pipes and make a connection to that. But I don't know if I want to go through that rabbit hole, because then I have to empty the reservoir to then refill it in like a few weeks time. So I might just leave it as it is. But when I get those pipes, I'll make another video just because just to show you how those pipes are run, because they go just after the ABS here at the front, all the way inside the vehicle up to the rear seat, and then down into that 2-way connector. So if you're interested in that, make sure to stay tuned. And yeah, probably in a month and a half, I'll have a video up for you. And I think here's where I'm going to end this video. So as usual, thank you for watching, thank you for liking, thank you for subscribing if you do, and I shall see you very shortly.